Hi, beautiful badasses. This week I want to talk about when you have sexual trauma, or really any kind of trauma. It can really affect your sex life, your sexuality, your ability to engage in sex, or just have a sense of peace around what your relationship with sex is. So, especially with sexual trauma, but really any kind of trauma can create that flight or fight response and affect our sex lives, where we tense up or startle when our partners touch us, or when we think about having sex. So that startle response can happen. And there's this whole, I think, maybe misguided but well-intentioned idea that rape or sexual assault is an act of power and not an act of sex. And although it is that, I also call bullshit to that a little bit, because it's rare that I find someone that has had a rape or had a sexual assault that it doesn't affect their sex life. And a lot of people dissociate and have a sex personality almost that they kind of go to, where they kind of cut off from their bodies. And that's really common. So the first recommendation is to get help. I'm a big fan of EMDR therapy, and I've talked about that before, but find a trauma-informed person, or at least start reading on it and doing some research on what resonates with you. The next thing I want to recommend is just to start slow and to start to develop a mind-body connection for yourself. Experiment with what you like. Do you like massage? Do you like touch? What do you like? Even if it's not full-blown masturbation, is it something that you can develop a sense of sensuality and develop a sense of what you like and what tells you that? This mindful awareness of developing some self-awareness, or this self-knowledge and an excitement about what you like. Developing a mind-body connection is really, really important when you're trying to heal from sexual trauma and trying to step back into a place of sexuality. A lot of times, again, we cut off from our bodies as a way of protecting ourselves. It's like our brain and our body is acting independently from one another, and that's really, really common. It's a way that we survive it. But as we can develop a mind-body connection, where we're either doing yoga or running or meditation, and we're starting to pay attention to where we feel our emotions somatically, how these two connect, that can begin to heal and bridge the gap between the trauma of a sexual trauma versus healthy, loving sexuality. And then the last thing is that, I think that there's this delicate tightrope that we walk, where we have to hold compassion and slowness for ourselves and hold our trauma stories alongside our resiliency, badassery stories, where we remind ourselves that we have the right to feel sexy, even if we've experienced a sexual trauma. We have the right to feel pleasure, and that we don't want to be determined by our past. And I'm not saying just do it, or just choose to F your partner more, or choose to just do it. That's not going to work. But this place of holding compassion and stepping back into a place of empowerment and deciding what your relationship with sex wants to be like, what you want, what you like, and reclaiming a sense of I have the right to feel sexy. I have the right to feel pleasure, even if I've experienced a sexual trauma. So that's just something I've been thinking about. I hope you have a very sexy, fun weekend. Be well, my friends. Bye.